What's going on, y'all? I want to show you how I use sample 1 when mixing to do a lot of creative things to my mix. Well, a few videos ago I showed you how to make your bass slide using sample 1. So sample 1 is the stock sampler that comes with Studio One. It's very easy to use and you can get to it from any event in your range. So I've got a mix here that I've done for an artist named Juggernaut, and the song's called Hypnotize. I'm going to play a little bit of it for you.
My man Czar make tracks like this.
I like the way your body moves.
Slow motion like chopper screw.
I see that freak inside of you.
How much for a private room?
You got me hypnotized, girl, you got me hypnotized. You got me hypnotized, girl, you got me hypnotized.
Okay, so the first example I want to show you is I've got a snare here at close to the end of the song. And any event, like I said, you can, once you've got it selected, you can right click and you see an option, send to new sample 1. And that's going to create a sample 1 instrument track, load that event into sample 1. So you see now I've got my snare here, and I've actually got it stretched across the keyboard. So what I'm going to do with this snare is make a snare roll. So first I'm going to do is I'm going to take the sample 1 track and bring it up under the snare here. Okay. And I'm going to go from here to here. That's how far I want my roll to go. And now I can, on the sample 1 track, I can turn on the monitor, the input monitor, and I can play my MIDI keyboard. Or I can drop the notes in the piano roll, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to drop a note, hit D to duplicate it, and from here I'm just going to place them where I want it to go. So I'm going to make it start up and then come down. Okay, and actually we can mute the original one because we don't need that anymore. We're going to be hearing the sample 1, and sample 1 will be lower, so I'm going to get some gain on it here. Just boost it 6 dB, make sure we can hear it in the mix. Alright, let's see what we got. Alright, one more time. See, it's very easy to make a snare roll using sample 1. Then of course when I'm done with it, of course this is an instrument track in MIDI, Control B, it's going to bounce that to an audio file. So now I've got my audio file, and you'll notice that it's stereo. Now my last video I showed you channel mode, so I want to give a huge shout out to Herb Failho, who commented on my YouTube video and told me how I can take the stereo waveform and make it mono. If you see my channel mode video, I was saying how it was kind of messing with my brain that I'm looking at a stereo file, but in the channel mode I flipped it to mono. Well, once you've take the stereo waveform and change the channel mode to mono, if you rebounce it a second time, you'll see now I have a mono file, or mono waveform. Now the next example, so I've made a cut here for this end part of the song. I'm going to take all of these tracks, bounce it down, and send that to sample 1. And therefore I can get creative with the whole mix. So I'm going to play that part. So all the tracks here, before the loop starts again, I'm going to select them, Apple E, and I want to make sure we're using a WAV file, 24-bit. Sample rate, it's fine to keep it the same thing as what the session is, which is 44.1. And we're going to actually go between the loop. Let me set the loop. There we go. So we want to export between the loop. And you want to make sure that this import to track is selected. So what that's going to do is when I export all of this, it's going to take that bar and import it back into Studio One. Alright, so should have made a track all the way at the bottom. There we go. Let's bring that up. So now, of course, I don't need this anymore, so I'm going to mute that. And what I want to do with this, I'm going to take the last half of this bar here. And well, before we do that, let's just send the whole thing to sample one. Alright, there we go. Let's cut that in half, and then with the sample one track, I'm going to create kind of a it's like a stutter effect here. Let's see. Okay, and then let's take these, just gonna bring them up one. Alright, and let's hear what we got here. Alright, one more time. There you go. That's another example of just something you could do very easily with sample one. The last one is a lot of times, not a lot of times, but sometimes I'll take the vocal and send that to sample one and do some creative stuff with that. So let's take the hook, for example.
You got me hypnotized, girl, you got me hypnotized.
I've already chopped this up, so see, I've chopped these parts. Actually, this and this can go back together. Okay, so I've taken the hook and I've chopped it into three different parts. I'm going to take these three different parts and I'm going to send that to sample one. Alright, so you see here I've got the three different files. So the first one, you always look over here at your root key to see where that sample starts from. So I see this one is starting at C3. I'm gonna turn that on and play it from my keyboard.
You got me.
Actually, we need to turn off the snare here. We actually don't need the snare anymore since we've converted it to audio. Okay.
You got me. You got me.
I'm gonna shorten this up so you see when I first hit the key, it's not starting the sample right on it. So you can just take this and drag it closer.
You get.
All right, and second sample's on D3.
Hypnotized.
And the third one is on E.
Girl, you got me hypnotized.
So I'm gonna take that sample one track, and put a little gain on it. And just to give you an idea of just some things I can do, I'm just gonna play the end of the song and play the MIDI keyboard here with those notes.
Hypnotized, you got me.
Outlaw. Let's try that again.
Hypnotized, hypnotized. Girl, you got me hypnotized.
So you can see with that, I didn't record it in, but you know, just playing it, you can hear that you can kind of do some like DJ effects. You can do some stutter things, and remember, you can also add automation to this, so you can be really creative with using sample 1, and you know, sending your events to sample 1 and manipulating them from there. All right, I'll catch y'all next time.